Ladies and gentlemen, sisters and brothers in life's unfolding journey, lend me your heart for just a while. Let us slow the pace of our days, hush the loud ache of ambition, and turn inward to find the rhythm of something quiet, something steady, something whole. There is a power in stillness, in the tender moments just before the sun touches the earth and the world stirs to life. In that hallowed hush of morning, before the clang of urgency, we are given a choice, not of grandeur or applause, but of foundation. You see, the world teaches us to chase, to conquer, to measure ourselves by movement and noise. But I come to you now with a different truth. It is in the soft-spoken rituals, the unseen labors of the soul, that we quietly build the unshakable self. And there are prayers, 6 of them, that rise not from sanctimony or spectacle, but from the innermost need of a soul determined to grow quietly strong. You don't have to wear these prayers on your sleeve. You don't have to shout them into the sky, or carry them in stained glass. But if you let them work on you, if you hold them like morning light in your palms, they will change you. Not all at once, and not for show, but in the slow bloom of character and grace. I speak now not only to the faithful, nor only to the devout. I speak to anyone who rises in the morning asking, how do I build a life that won't fall apart when the world shakes? Professionals hunched over their calendars, students tangled in dreams and deadlines, parents with heavy hearts and hopeful hands. This message is for you. There is no need to be loud to be strong. You do not need to be seen to be powerful. You need only be rooted. The first of these prayers is the prayer of gratitude. And don't you be fooled. This is not about listing blessings like items on a receipt. This is not cheap Thanksgiving. No, it is the deep and deliberate act of saying thank you for simply being alive. Thank you for the breath that rises before your thoughts do. Thank you for the aches in your bones that remind you you're still here. In a world that thrives on dissatisfaction, waking up grateful is an act of rebellion. It shifts the current. It humbles the ego. It tells the universe, I see what I have, even before I ask for more. Quietly, it expands the soul. It doesn't require incense or ceremony, only honesty. You say it in the mirror, or in the stillness of your chest. Thank you for this life, for this chance. That prayer will anchor you before the storms start. The second prayer is the prayer of intention. If gratitude anchors, intention steers. Before the emails, before the traffic, before the small crises nibble at your calm, speak your purpose into the dawn. Not what you have to do, but who you want to be while doing it. Say, let me be kind today, even when I am tired. Say, let me lead with clarity, not control. Say, let me listen more than I speak. These are not goals. They are soul promises. They're not made to impress anyone. They are made to align your inner compass. Because when the noise of life rises, it's not the loudest voice that saves you, it's the truest one. And your intentions, spoken before the day begins, will echo through your choices, like a quiet, unwavering bell. The third is the prayer of surrender. Oh, how that word stings our modern pride. We think surrender means giving up. We've been taught that strength is all about control. But I offer you this: surrender is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is the wisdom to know that you cannot control all things, and trying to do so will twist your soul into knots. Surrender says, I will show up, I will give my best, and I will let go of the rest. It is a soft hand unclenching. It is a chest no longer braced against every imagined blow. This prayer is not defeat. It is a kind of freedom. You say it softly. What is mine I will carry. What is not, I release. That simple act quiets the inner storm. It opens space for peace to enter. And what peace builds, no panic can destroy. The fourth is the prayer of forgiveness. It is often the hardest one to speak, because it does not begin with others. It begins with you. Forgive yourself for not being perfect, for forgetting, for failing, for falling. And then, yes, forgive those who bruised you, knowingly or not. Forgiveness is not permission, it is release. It is saying, you no longer get to live in my chest rent-free. Carrying old wounds into a new day is like dragging chains behind you while trying to run. The morning is a fresh canvas. Do not paint it with yesterday's pain. Speak the names if you must. Whisper, I forgive you, I forgive me. And watch how your spirit lifts, lighter than it has been in years. The fifth is the prayer of courage. Not the roaring kind, not the kind that wins medals or headlines, but the quiet courage to keep showing up, to get out of bed when your heart is heavy, to say no when the world demands yes, to tell the truth when lying would be easier. Courage is the whisper that says, try again. Courage is the spine that holds your shape when others would mold you. This prayer is not flashy, but it is fierce. You say it simply, give me strength to do the hard thing, even when no one sees it. And every time you say it, your soul gains muscle. You are no longer held hostage by fear. You become the kind of person who moves mountains quietly, with your hands and your hope. And lastly, the sixth is the prayer of compassion. For others, yes, but also for yourself. The world can be cruel. People can be careless. And sometimes the harshest voice we hear is the one inside our own mind. This prayer softens that voice. It says, let me be gentle. Let me see the human behind the mistake. Let me offer grace where judgment would be easier. Compassion is the balm we carry through a bruising world. It heals what anger can't. It mends what pride breaks. And every morning you ask for a heart soft enough to care, but strong enough to carry. You become an agent of healing, in a world that desperately needs menders more than critics. So these 6 prayers: gratitude, intention, surrender, forgiveness, courage, compassion, are not just words. They are bricks. You lay them down one by one, day after day, quietly, patiently, and one day you find that you have built a house within yourself that cannot be shaken. You find that you walk taller not because anyone is watching, but because your spirit is rooted. You find that you are no longer chasing worth, you are embodying it. And that, beloveds, is the quiet revolution we need. Now I know we live in a time where noise is mistaken for wisdom, where speed is worshipped and silence is feared. But I tell you, some of the strongest people I've ever known were not the loudest. They were those who chose to build when no one was clapping, who rose before the sun and met the day not with frenzy, but with faith. People who knew that character is not forged in the spotlight, but in the shadows, when you choose what kind of soul you will bring to the world. I invite you, whether you wear a suit or a uniform, or the invisible robes of resilience, to begin your mornings not with haste, but with hope, not with anxiety, but with alignment. Let your day begin from within. Let your actions rise from the prayers you plant in silence. It doesn't matter where you are in life, whether you're climbing, rebuilding, beginning, or simply surviving. These prayers meet you where you are. They do not ask for perfection, only presence. They do not promise ease, only evolution. So tomorrow, before the demands descend, before the headlines hit, before the busyness blinds you, sit with yourself. Speak these prayers not as magic spells, but as soul commitments. And watch what happens, not overnight, but over time. You will find yourself becoming someone who does not just endure the world, but shapes it. Not with noise, but with depth. Not with display, but with devotion. When you build yourself quietly, the world may not notice at first, but one day it will look at you calm, clear-eyed, compassionate, and ask, how did you become this way? And you will smile, not boastfully, but with the quiet knowing of someone who met the morning, again and again, with prayers that reshaped not only their day, but their destiny. And if you are wondering whether these prayers are meant for people of one faith or another, let me tell you this: these are not the property of any single religion or tradition. These are the universal echoes of the soul that longs to be whole. These prayers are for the quiet architect within you, the one who knows that inner work does not need an audience. They are for those who walk through boardrooms, classrooms, hospitals, fields, homes, anywhere life asks more of you than you sometimes think you can give. These prayers are not confined to temples or sanctuaries. They rise in kitchens, in commuter trains, in the hush of a child still sleeping, in the breath of someone weary but willing. And the sacredness of these prayers lies not in their words, but in the sincerity with which you carry them. They are both ancient and freshly born with every sunrise, because each morning is a beginning, not a continuation, a beginning. And each beginning holds the possibility of transformation. You may not feel different right away. You may speak these prayers and still feel the weight of worry on your shoulders. But do not mistake subtlety for futility. The strongest trees do not shoot up overnight. They root downward first, unseen, anchoring themselves deep before rising. So too must you root yourself with care and intention before you try to stand tall. And these 6 prayers are your roots. They do not promise perfection, but they cultivate presence. And presence, beloveds, is the most powerful gift you can offer to your work, to your family, to the world, and most importantly to yourself. Let me tell you about a woman I knew who built herself quietly. She was not educated in the way some measure intelligence, but she had a wisdom that could break the silence of a room and make people weep with understanding. Every morning she would rise before the light crept through her curtains. She would sit in a small chair by her kitchen window, the same window that overlooked a patch of earth where nothing much grew except a single stubborn rose bush. She didn't pray out loud, and she didn't carry a Bible in her hands. But every morning she would place her hands in her lap, close her eyes, and whisper something that made her entire being still. I once asked her what she said in those moments. She told me, "I tell the day how I want to meet it, so the world doesn't tell me who I am." That, my friends, is what it means to build yourself. Not in a display of strength, but in a decision to meet life on your own terms, with grace, with clarity, with quiet power. You see, we are often taught to build resumes before we build character. We are taught to collect accolades before we understand who we are without them. But the world is shifting. The future belongs not to the loudest voice in the room, but to the most grounded. It belongs to those who know how to lead, not only from intellect, but from integrity. Those who know how to speak with conviction, but listen with compassion. Those who make room at the table, not only for power, but for principle. And the ones who rise like this, those are the ones who have built themselves, day by day, in the quiet, with intention. They are not perfect, but they are present. They are not untouchable, but they are unshakable. Now you may be asking, what if I miss a day? What if I forget? The answer is simple: begin again. Every sunrise is a soft invitation to return to yourself. You don't need a record, you need rhythm. The rhythm of returning, the rhythm of remembering what matters, the rhythm of recommitting, not to tasks, but to truth. The truth of who you are, and who you are becoming. That is the quiet revolution we need in our homes, in our workplaces, in our communities. Not another productivity hack, not another hollow metric, but people, building themselves with reverence and courage, starting at dawn. There will be moments when this path feels lonely, when the world applauds someone else's velocity, while you are still tending to your stillness. But don't be discouraged. Stillness is not stagnation. Stillness is listening. It is gathering. It is building strength without spectacle. And one day, when the winds rise and the noise returns, you will find yourself unmoved, not because you are hardened, but because you are held. Held by the quiet discipline of prayer. Held by the foundation you have been laying, one sacred morning at a time. The truth is, there are systems in this world that benefit when you are hurried, fractured, and distracted. That benefit when you forget yourself and become just another cog in someone else's machine. But when you begin your day with these quiet practices, you reclaim your center. You step back into your autonomy. You begin to shape your own weather, and you begin to understand that power does not only come from hierarchy or titles, it comes from alignment, from coherence, from being able to say, my life may not be perfect, but it is mine. It reflects my values. It honors my truth. There is another man I once met who embodied this truth. He worked as a janitor in a high-rise office tower. Most people didn't notice him, but every morning before the elevators hummed to life and the lobby filled with hurried footsteps, he would walk the quiet corridors, whispering blessings over each space, over the desks, the chairs, the windows, the walls. I asked him once why he did that. He said, "I want the people who come into this building to feel peace, even if they don't know why." That, beloveds, is a prayer in motion. That is spiritual architecture. That is a man who quietly built a legacy no title could give him. And though he never stood behind a podium, he touched more lives than many who do. You, too, are invited to that kind of life. A life that leaves a gentle imprint of dignity wherever you go. A life that isn't just about achievement, but about alignment. And it starts, not with a grand declaration, but with a whisper of gratitude, a whisper of intention, a whisper of surrender, of forgiveness, of courage, of compassion. These 6 morning prayers are not rituals to impress the divine. They are reflections of your own becoming. They are tools, they are mirrors, they are seeds. And oh, what mighty things grow from seeds. A forest does not emerge fully formed. It begins with a single germination, nurtured in the dark, beneath the soil, away from sight. Your soul is no different. These prayers water your roots. They make you resilient in ways the world cannot see but surely will feel. The people around you will feel your calm. They will feel your clarity. They will sense that you carry something steady, something true. And they may not know what it is, but you will. Do not let the pace of the world steal the peace of your mornings. Do not surrender the first hour of your day to screens, to headlines, to chaos. Begin within, begin in reverence, and when you forget, and you will come back. Come back not with guilt, but with grace. Because this practice is not about performance, it is about presence. It is about preparing your inner sanctuary before you step into the outer storm. And I promise you this, when you start your day from that sacred place, the world may still roar, but it will not move you off your center. Some mornings, these prayers will feel effortless. Other mornings, they will feel like climbing a mountain in the dark. But keep climbing, keep whispering, keep building. The silence you hold in those moments is doing more than you know. It is rewiring your brain. It is soothing your nervous system. It is teaching your body that safety can be found, not in circumstance, but in consciousness. It is reminding your spirit that the most important work you do each day may be the work no one sees. So tomorrow morning, when the alarm rings and the light is still soft, remember this: you have a choice. You can tumble into the day, or you can rise into it. You can react, or you can respond. You can drift, or you can direct. Let these 6 prayers be your compass. Let them be the architecture of your internal world. Let them whisper you into wakefulness, not with noise, but with necessity. The necessity of living a life that is deeply yours, authentically yours, quietly and powerfully yours. And when you meet others who seem lost in the frenzy, don't judge them. Share your light. Invite them into the stillness. Tell them about these prayers, not as prescriptions but as offerings, as gifts, as a way to come home to themselves. Because the truth is, we are all longing for home. Not a place, but a way of being. And morning by morning, prayer by prayer, we can return. Let us not wait for crisis to realign us. Let us not wait for the world to fall apart before we choose to be whole. Let us start now. Start tomorrow. Start always. Because the work of building the self, of nurturing the soul, is never done. It is the most radical, most revolutionary, most restorative thing you can do. And it starts in the quiet. It starts in the morning. It starts with you. And if you forget everything else I've said today, remember this: you are not the sum of your accomplishments. You are not the measure of your productivity. You are a soul in progress, a spirit with purpose. And that purpose is nourished not by perfection, but by presence. So be present, be prayerful, be intentional. Build yourself quietly, surely, day by day. And when the world sees the strength you carry with such grace, they will ask where it came from. and you will simply smile, and remember it came from the mornings. It came from the prayers. It came from choosing to rise, again and again, in the quiet power of becoming. And as I stand here continuing to speak into the sacred stillness we've created together, I know this message may not land for everyone in the same way. Some of you may be skeptical. You may be thinking, how can quiet prayers change the world I walk in? A world of deadlines, debts, injustices, deadlines that don't bend, and expectations that don't soften. That question is fair. That skepticism is welcome. But let me ask you this. Where else have you looked? How many times have you tried to outrun your own exhaustion? How often have you sought validation in things that never fed you, never loved you back, never offered you real rest? If you've tried everything loud and it hasn't healed you, why not try something quiet? If you've been striving to prove yourself and still feel hollow, why not choose to become yourself instead? The world will tell you that the way to be seen is to be loud, to be visible, to be constantly on. But being seen is not the same as being known. Being visible is not the same as being valued. These prayers, spoken in the soft hours of the day, invite you to be known first to yourself. Because when you know yourself truly and tenderly, you are no longer held hostage by the opinions of others. You no longer need to chase approval like a child running after a balloon in the wind. You begin to live in a way that is rooted, so when others come to you in need, they find not just answers but presence. They find someone who has done the interior work, someone who does not collapse under pressure because they are not propped up by performance. They are upheld by practice. There is a kind of leadership, a kind of quiet excellence, that begins with these morning prayers. And I want every professional, every teacher, every healer, every artist, every builder of families and communities, to hear me now. Your morning matters. It is not a throwaway time. It is not just the hour before the real work begins. It is the real work. Because how you begin your day is how you begin your life again. Every day you are given the gift of renewal, the gift of return, the opportunity to shape who you are before the world starts shaping you. Do not squander it. Do not treat it as insignificant. Even 5 minutes, 5 quiet minutes with yourself and your soul, can set the tone for everything that follows. These 6 prayers are not about superstition. They are about structure. They are not rigid rules, but sacred rhythms. They do not require a particular religion or creed. They ask only that you believe in the possibility of your own growth. They ask only that you are willing to show up, to your breath, to your body, to your truth. The prayer of gratitude teaches you to begin from fullness, not lack. The prayer of intention reminds you that you are not here just to react to life, but to create it. The prayer of surrender helps you release what is beyond you, so you can give your energy to what is within your reach. The prayer of forgiveness lightens the load you carry in your chest. The prayer of courage fills you with a quiet fire that no wind can snuff out. And the prayer of compassion lets you walk through the world with open eyes and an open heart. What could be more powerful than that? I've seen what happens when people take this seriously. I've seen people facing burnout start to come back to life, not because their schedule changed, but because they changed. I've seen people trapped in resentment begin to soften, not because the past was erased, but because the wound no longer owned them. I've seen leaders who were once harsh become deeply respected, not because they gave up their standards, but because they learned to lead with heart. These are not miracles of chance. These are fruits of daily tending. The soul, like any garden, must be watered, and these prayers are your watering can. Simple, humble, and life-giving. Let us not fool ourselves into thinking that success built on speed and status will bring us peace. We must redefine success as depth, as integrity, as the ability to sleep at night, knowing you lived aligned with what you believe. The world does not need more cleverness. It needs more clarity. It does not need more noise. It needs more wisdom. And wisdom, real wisdom, does not shout. It listens. It hums. It knows. And it has grown in silence, in solitude, in those precious few moments at the beginning of each day, when you choose to meet your life with intention, not inertia. Some will laugh at this. They will scoff. They will say, what good is a prayer when there is real work to be done? But I say, what is real work if the worker is lost? What is the point of achievement if it is built on anxiety, on disconnection, on forgetting who you are? The greatest impact comes from the most rooted people. And roots are grown in the unseen, in the early hours, in the whispered promises we make to ourselves before the world can interrupt. And let us also understand, this practice is not selfish, it is not indulgent. In fact, it is the opposite. Because when you begin your day from a grounded place, you are more available to others. You are less reactive. You are more patient. You are less threatened. You bring calm where others bring conflict. You offer kindness where others carry knives. You become, in your quiet way, a force of healing in a fractured world. And that kind of presence, born from morning prayer, is one of the most generous things you can offer. Let me speak now to those who feel broken, who feel they are too far gone for prayer to help. You are not. There is no soul too weary, no life too tangled, that cannot be gently rethreaded with time and tenderness. Begin where you are. Begin with a single breath. Begin with just one of the prayers. Begin again tomorrow. This is not about being good. It is about becoming whole. And you are already worthy of that wholeness. Not someday, not if, but now. The work of quiet self-building is lifelong. There is no finish line, no trophy, just the sacred satisfaction of knowing that you are meeting your life with care, that you are not waiting for some external change to bring you peace. You are cultivating it within, day by day, breath by breath, prayer by prayer. You may not always feel it, but the change is happening, and those around you will feel it too. Whether they name it or not, they will see your eyes gentler, your tone steadier, your presence more magnetic, and it will not be because you raised your voice, but because you raised your vibration. So when tomorrow comes, and you rise to meet the day, do so slowly, do so deliberately. Give yourself those few minutes, before the world begins its tug of war. Sit in the silence, let the morning hold you, speak gratitude for your breath, set your intentions like anchors, surrender what is not yours to carry, forgive yourself and others, ask for courage to face what will come, and choose compassion, not only for those who will challenge you, but for yourself, in all your beautiful imperfection. You are not just passing time here, you are building something sacred, and though no one may see the bricks you lay each morning, they will walk through the cathedral you've created, they will feel the peace you carry, they will recognize the wisdom in your eyes, and they will wonder, perhaps, what your secret is. And you will know it is not a secret at all. It is a practice. It is a promise. It is a prayer. Continue, then, this quiet revolution. Continue to build. Continue to become. Let the world chase its noise. Let others scramble. But you keep rising with grace. Keep beginning with prayer, because you are not here just to survive this life. You are here to live it deeply. You are here to love it fully. You are here to shape it intentionally. And that journey begins, always, in the morning, with a heart open to change, and a soul willing to speak the quiet words that will shape the rest of your life. And as this reflection unfolds further, let us not forget that this call to quiet transformation is not just poetic, it is practical. These morning prayers are not only instruments of spiritual comfort, but tools for resilience, in a world that does not often pause to catch its breath. This practice is not just about preparing the heart, it is also about sharpening the mind, steadying the nerves, strengthening the will. It prepares you not to avoid the storms of life, but to walk through them with a sense of direction, with your dignity intact. Because the world will press against you, it will test your resolve. But if you have already stood in the stillness of morning, if you have already centered yourself in truth and peace, then nothing outside of you can undo what you have rooted within. You become less like a leaf tossed in the wind, and more like a mountain rising in quiet defiance of chaos. And do not mistake this quiet work for weakness. The quiet ones are often the most disciplined. The ones who move with grace are not those who have never suffered, but those who have chosen to carry their pain like a lantern rather than a chain. The ones who pray in the morning do not do so because their lives are easy, but because they understand that peace must be cultivated. It does not arrive on its own. So do not underestimate the power of this daily choice. You may be the only one who knows that you spoke those prayers. You may tell no one, and yet the way you walk into the day will tell the story. The way you speak, the way you breathe through conflict, the way you hold space for others, that will reveal the unseen work, that will make visible the invisible labor of your soul. There are those among you, leaders, parents, students, artists, caretakers, who feel the constant weight of responsibility. You give, and at the end of the day you find your spirit dry, stretched thin, frayed at the edges. And I say to you, replenish before you give, refill before you pour. These morning prayers are not